Hello everybody. I greet you from the town of Chinchina in Colombia, which is in the middle of the country in what they call the coffee region. It's in the heart of the Andes Mountains in Colombia, and it is breathtakingly beautiful. Although we are very high up, around the town are mountains and mountains, and on all the hills and the mountaintops you can see the coffee plantations with different coffee farms. It is really a wonderful experience. But I'm not here to share that with you actually today. I want to share something totally different. It took me a while to make this video because I was contemplating if I should do it at all, because it's such a personal experience that I was thinking maybe I shouldn't share it with anybody. But I think some people would find interest in it and would find something that they can use in this, and that is my hope, that you will find something really useful. So here we go. It happened about a month ago when I was in Iquitos in Peru in the Amazon forest. I can't describe what that Amazon is like. We swam in the river, we caught piranhas, we did everything you should be doing in the Amazon, and it was life-changing. But nothing came to what happened to me. I went to the Amazon in Iquitos in Peru because that is the origin of the Ayahuasca plant, which the indigenous people use to create some kind of spiritual experience. And the aim is different for every person. So I went there because I've read about it and I always wanted to do it. And my aim was clear. I want to meet myself. Some people go and meet God. Some people go and meet ancestors or whatever the case may be. But for me it was important to really get to know myself and to find that which was missing. So here's the story. The most powerful and effective protection that anybody can have is the spiritualization of your own being. So what does that mean? It means to find your essence, to find that which is within you, and then to live from that essence, to embody it. Now we as Christians, and most of my followers and people that take the time to listen to my videos are Christian people, either in the Catholic or in the Protestant tradition. And most of us think we know ourselves because God created us. We are His children. We are saved by Christ, and all these refrains that we have speaking of our faith and of our lives. But I can assure you today, that's nothing, absolutely nothing in comparison to what you will find when you start to embody your essence and to live it. So this is how this happened. We went to a retreat within the Amazon forest. It is beautiful, and in the middle of this retreat is a big boma kind of building, traditional building, where you would lie down and you would have these ayahuasca ceremonies. And around there in the forest is different chalets where we stayed, and you have your own little bathroom and this beautiful chalet, no windows, just kind of nets around to keep mosquitoes and animals out, and a natural palm leaf roof, and there you are under your mosquito net, just on a bed in the forest, and you hear every movement, you hear every leaf, every breeze or wind, every raindrop, and it rains like 3 times a day, briefly, and then the sun is out or the moon comes out again. It is something totally different from what most of us are used to. And when you are there, and there's no lights at night, There's no city dims on the horizons. It's just absolute darkness and beauty and silence. Silence. I really miss that in my life, and I found it there. At this retreat called Refugio Antiplano, and I will put a link in the description below if you want to look at it. We went, and we were 5 people. I went for 12 days. During these 12 days you have 7 different ceremonies of ayahuasca. You can't do it every day. Your body and your soul and your essence need rest in between. So the first night they kind of give you a little bit of the ayahuasca plant medicine. It's not a drug or anything like that. It's a medicine that the shamans in the Amazon forest create from this ayahuasca plant, and they add another plant's leaves to it to create this almost licorice taste, but yet there's nothing that tastes like it. And they give you a little bit the first night in a cup and you drink, just to see where you are, because everybody reacts differently. We are on different fitness levels, we are on different health levels, so they need to test where you are at. So a little bit. So I was there, lying down, having my first ceremony, and then they sing the Icarus songs, which is undescribable. I can't explain what it is, because these shamans sang or are still singing these songs over centuries while administering the ayahuasca drink and the ayahuasca medicine. And it's a combination of the medicine and the Icarus songs that take you into this vivid, beautiful, dreaming state. You do not lose consciousness, not at all. You know exactly what's going on around you. You hear every word, and I mean you hear every word of those songs. It goes on for 3 hours non-stop. And you experience. And the first night I was there, and the next morning after the ceremony at 10 o'clock we come together with the shamans, and they sit with us and they ask, so what did you experience? And you have the time to unpack, ask questions and get guidance from these shamans. That in itself is such a privilege, to sit in that circle of wisdom that comes down through generations in the Amazon forest, to hear and to listen to what other people experience, but also to share what you experience, and then to hear their reaction. They speak Spanish. At that stage my Spanish was almost non-existent, but they are translators and they translate back and forth. So the communication is very good. You know exactly what these people say. So the first night, nothing happened. Really, I was lying there for 3 hours listening to the Icarus songs and nothing happened. And I was kind of disappointed, but then they explained why the first night you drink just a little bit so that they know where you are, because other people had experiences. And I thought, what's wrong with me that I can't have an experience? But the second night they increased the amount that I drank, and it was rough. I was taken on this mental journey into my own mind. Now, if you've ever wondered what the mind is like, it's not like that. If you ever thought what your mind would be like, it is absolutely not like that. It is out of this world. It is as if I went into this big sanctuary, this big library with rows and rows of drawers that you can open, and inside, like the old libraries, the older people will know what I'm talking about. When you went into the library, you had these long little drawers and all the information of the different books were in there, and then you search and you find your book and the card tells you where the book is. That is your mind. That system has been based on our minds. So it's this perfectly orderly, beautiful wooden library with all these drawers. And I was thinking, I need to open these drawers to see. And then on the one side there's this circle, this round thing, but it was like moving, like my fingers do now. And it's like jelly, it's like snails, fish, snakes. Not a nice picture. And that kind of upset me a bit, because remember, you're conscious, you know exactly what you see, your brain functions perfectly, but you just have there are no filters, everything just comes to you. So when I opened the drawers, drawer after drawer after drawer were filled with that filth. It was awful. It was undescribable. I wanted to run away. I wanted to take my mind out of my head and just throw it in the river. I wanted just to get rid of this absolute loads and loads of filth and crap. And I was thinking and knowing, this is my mind. This is what's going on inside me. This is what's going on in my head, and there's this net, like a net over all of this, and it ran down, it come together like different strings forming one big rope that's connected to the throat chakra. And this net from the mind feeds all the information to the throat chakra. And I was wondering why the throat chakra. And then it hits me, this is how we create. We speak, we say things, and then it happens. I want a chair, and tomorrow I go and buy a chair. That's how we create. So I was creating from this mess, from this rubbish, junk in the library of my mind, and it was so upsetting. At some stage, this just kept on for ages, and at some stage I just realized I need to clean this. And typically, Gert, I took a feather duster to dust my library mind. And doing that, there was no effect. And that's what I always do. We want to clean out, but we take a feather duster, not to upset anybody or anything. And that comes to mind so clearly that that's what I was always doing, and I needed to change this. So then I went in with my hands and I grabbed that filth and I pulled it out and I threw it in a big hole on the outside next to a tree, and that whole tree came into life with this filth energy, and it went up into the leaves, and then suddenly the whole tree just died down, turned into ash, and all of that filth went with the tree down into a deep hole. Rethinking that, I knew that is my mind, and that was created through years and years and years of indoctrination done by people who thought they were doing the right thing. I don't blame anybody. But I realized where all of this crap came from. Before the ceremony starts, the first one actually, they tell you that you can get very sick, I mean vomiting, due to the ayahuasca medicine's effect on your body. And I was thinking, I've got a strong body. I never vomited. I think I vomited 20 or 30 years ago the last time. I have a really strong system. I went to Thailand and all different countries, never become ill. So don't bring me that bucket. I won't vomit. And that, after that picture of my mind, when the ceremony ended and they light the candles again, because all of this happens in total darkness. And the shamans sing the Icarus, and they come and sit at your feet singing the Icarus songs. And then afterwards they light the candles and you come back. And I was just sitting there, and suddenly I just knew this needs to get out of me. And I grabbed the bucket. And sorry for this visual description, but I vomited my lungs out. And it was as if there was this thing inside of me. And as it came through my throat and through my mouth into the bucket, you could feel every rip. It was kind of like a thing like this with different rips, and it, scratched my throat while it went out of me into that bucket. And I was so scared to look into the bucket. I could just see that it's kind of a red mess. So I just pushed it aside, and I wanted to go and clean it, and they said, no, don't worry. They cleaned everything after we left. So we left, and I went back very nauseous, very sick, very emotionally and physically drained. We had a day off, and then we came back for the third ceremony, and I was kind of, scared. I had more ayahuasca, but the experience was totally different. The library, the previous night at the end of the vision, when I cleaned it with my hands and went up in the library, there was a light coming down from above, starting to shine into this library. And the third night with the third ceremony, it was as if I was in that light in my mind, and I could start seeing things because the mess was cleared out. And I went on a trip from when I was a baby, from birth, and I could see myself crawling on the farm Witpoort where I grew up in my parents' house, and looking up and see that happy, absolute happy baby face, laughing and just having a ball of time. And that was my growing up years. No real dramas, no real trauma. It was just happy. I was brought up in the church. I was brought up in South Africa's apartheid system, in the schools. So indoctrination were everywhere. My parents taught me what they believed were right, and I'm grateful for that. I say again, I don't blame anybody for the mess in my mind. That was created by myself because I took in the indoctrination through everything. So I went through every phase, and there was a phase when I was 24 years old where I went through extreme trauma, which stuck not only in my mind but also in my body. And that night, I visited that. I looked it in the eye, and I handled it. And I told myself, this is 30 years later. You cannot be stuck in something that happened 30 years back. You have to move on. So the whole ceremony went well. I didn't get sick afterwards, and I went back. And then you're alone in your cabin. And I was just lying there, and I started to feel very, very bad. And I ran to the toilet, but I couldn't vomit. It started running downwards, number 2, the stomach just go and just want to get rid of the stuff inside of me. And then suddenly it switched over, and I started to vomit. And it came out at the top, so I was changing, hanging over the toilet, and then sitting on the toilet and hanging over the toilet. It was horrendous. And then at the end, I was again vomiting, but there was nothing left in my body to vomit. So it was kind of air coming out and coming out, coming out. And my body went in this reaction that it doesn't want to stop. It just wants to get rid of whatever is in this body, all this trauma and all this bad stuff that I need to get rid of. And I got stuck in that. And I couldn't breathe. I couldn't inhale again. So the saying that I used in the beginning, I vomited my lungs out, it happened literally. I know how it feels. And I was getting up straight because nothing came out, but also nothing could go back in. And I realized I'm going to pass out. And if I lose consciousness, it's going to be over because I won't be able to breathe. So I started saying to myself, I need help. Help me. Help me. And with every vomit that comes, nothing comes out except air. I get rid of all the air in my body. There's nothing left. I can't get anything back. And I knew this is it. I'm going to lose consciousness, and this is it. And I kept on saying, help me. And then it happened. At that moment it happened. The essence, the soul came out. And as it came out, it came and stood in front of me. And that was me. I was in front of my body, looking me in the eye, my body in the eyes, and putting my hand on my chest. And by doing that, calming my body down, looking myself in the eyes and say, calm down, be calm, you're going to be okay. We will get through this. And I looked my essence, my soul, back in the eye with my bodily eyes. And I gave over. I let go. I give the power in here back to the essence. And the essence of my soul told the body, just calm down and take a little bit of air into the lungs. Just a little bit. Don't try and breathe a big breath. Just a little bit. And as the body came out of the vomiting reactions, I could get a teaspoon of air into my lungs. And it is as if this whole body just say, okay, I can trust the essence, because the essence is in control now. And then a second little breath, and a third little breath. And for about 20 to 30 minutes, I was taking in air little by little more and little more, until I took a deep breath of life. It was something you cannot describe to anybody. To meet yourself and to meet your essence, and to get to that position where you can give it all the power, all the control. Just give it away and give it to your soul and say, this is who I really am. This entity standing in front of me, that is who I am. And I'm in there, but I'm also in the body. So the ego in the body at last said, I can't do this. I give power back to the essence. And I took that breath of life, and I realized what happened that night was a dying and a rebirth. It was a giving away and a receiving. It was a letting go, but also a getting back. It was meeting the self, becoming the self. And the moment I took that deep breath, the essence, my soul in front of me, the I am, moved back into my body. And I was this person again, but not this person anymore, because everything changed. When the essence moved back into the body, I realized what it is to say, I embody. I use this body to embody the soul and the essence. And in that moment, the body say, here I am, I'm the vehicle, use me. And the essence inside says, thank you. This is my sanctuary, this is my home for now, for a little while, before I move on. And that is when you meet the I am, because that is who the essence is. It is the I am. And the I am is the essence of God. Not an old man on a throne, not the picture that we have of God. It is totally different. It is life. It is breath. Yet, you cannot describe it, and you also know exactly what it is. You cannot see it, but you also see every aspect of it. And that comes into this body. And that is you. And that is me. And the moment when this ego and this personality and this Gert person let go and say, I give the power back, that is the moment life happens. That is the moment when you meet the I am and you become it and you realize it and you feel it. And you cannot learn that in any book. You have to experience it. And that is what I will talk about in the next video. Thanks for hanging around with me. Thanks for listening to my story. I hope it will help you on your journey. And when we talk in the next video, I will go a little bit deeper in what was the experience like of experiencing the essence. What is the experience now afterwards, a month after it happened? And what does the road ahead look like? Thanks.